Hello all, welcome back once again to another interesting episode under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav story series by Momish Tomlivils. Today I'm going to introduce you to interesting personality who is actually an agricultural scientist turned into a saint who started silently the organic revolution in Tamil Nadu. He is none other than Nammalvar. The moment I pronounce his name or I spell out his name Nammalvar, people who keep buying books on Amazon would think that he is a writer or a author or a poet because you get to see a lot of books written by him, which are originally in Tamil but got translated into English as well. But he's just not a author or a poet, my dear friends. He is a agricultural scientist who has started in a very silent way the organic revolution in Tamil Nadu. If you see when little background about himself, he is born in the year 1938 to a family farming family in a very small village called Elangadu in the Tanjavur district. If you remember the Karikala Chola's video, I had mentioned, which Karikala Chola had built the Kalanai Dam to make this arid region of the Tanjavur Trichy belt into a fertile zone, and this place is called basically the paddy godown of the entire India, isn't it? This is the place, the rice bowl of India, because this is a place where you can see all the time the lush green paddy fields and Nammalvar, along with his other two elder brothers, used to go to farm along with his father and help him in the farming practices. So at that point of time itself, he got interested into the farming, and that is the reason why, though science is supposed to be the much hyped educational degree at that point of time because of the ease in getting jobs for science graduates, and Nammalvar had chosen agriculture as his graduation course, and he has done his graduation from Annamalai University. As soon as he completed his agricultural graduation, he got a job as the agricultural field officer plus scientist in the Kovilpatti region of Tamil Nadu. Kovilpatti region is little down of Tanjavur, and it is a very dry zone. In fact, the only time when you can see water in Kovilpatti area is only during the monsoons, and it is really a cultural shock for Namalwar to move from such a fertile belt into a dry, arid zone. He was not sure what kind of farming will happen here, but he was surprised to see a lot of farmers growing millets, which for which the water will come only through the monsoons, and post monsoons those millet crops doesn't require much water, and these people used to use a lot of cattle and sheep in the fields, which will give them manure in the form of dung and urine. But as an agricultural officer, field officer, and research student in the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, he has to advise these farmers to start using expensive chemical fertilizers. Already, the farmers who are farming in the arid regions of Kovilpatti are having very poor economic background, and they are not able to afford these expensive chemical fertilizers. And whenever he used to raise the questions as to why we should recommend these expensive chemical fertilizers to these farmers who are already economically very poor, people used to say that these fertilizers will actually give them high yield, but he know internally from the technical side that it is not the case. It's just that people say that the more you feed, the more you get money. Like that, these people are supposed to recommend more usage of more and more expensive fertilizers, which will push these farmers into the debt traps. So he got frustrated with this kind of job responsibility, and he left his job as agricultural field officer from the Tamil Nadu government. And then he started working as agricultural scientist in an NGO called Islands of Peace Organization. This organization is actually founded by RP Dominic Pyatt, who is a Nobel laureate from Belgium, who is into very much into the organic farming practices, sustainable farming practices at that point of time. Even in that organization, people were though one side that recommending about sustainable farming, the other side they're talking about usage. I mean, how the good yield will come if they start using the GMO seeds and highly genetically modified seeds and all that stuff. But seeing all these different kind of pressures that are coming onto the farmers, he was getting skeptical as to whether really chemical fertilizers are needed or not, because he saw that his father was not using much of the chemical fertilizers, but they were getting good yield and they were able to save some money, with which all the three kids got good education and they could get into a good job. But whereas after 20 years down the line, here all the farmers are getting into the debt trap because of the high usage of the chemical fertilizers, and the returns are not very good. And so he was like started asking a lot of questions about really the efficacy of using chemical fertilizers, because once when you're spraying chemical fertilizers, they say that you cannot ingest those vapors as well, because they are highly poisonous to the human body. If they are poisonous to the human body, how can we spray the fruits and the vegetables which we are going to eat with these chemical fertilizers? That was his basic question. From there, he started digging deeper and deeper, and that is when he got introduced to the organic farmers from the Arvindo Ashramam, that is Arovili, from Pondicherry. And when he went there and started interacting with the different farmers, who these farmers are not the native Indian farmers, but they have come down from abroad and they are living in Auroville to get the experience about the community living, and they start doing community farming and all that stuff. So he started learning more and more about the organic farming, sustainable farming from these people. And when he started understanding all these things, he thought that yes, this is the right time for him to go ahead and spread this knowledge into the common public, the farming public, so that they can stop using these expensive fertilizers and they can come out of the debt trap. So he started slowly the organic farming movement, and he started going from village to village and started discussing about the importance of organic farming, what are the benefits people will get from the organic farming. But at that point of time, he realized that if he wears that normal western wear, that is pant and shirt, and gets into the village and starts talking to them, people are not able to understand. That is when he started talking to them in their local dialects of the different Tamil languages, and he started talking to them in the form of poetry, and he started telling them stories and everything, so that because he got this idea basically from the Vinoba Bhave's Bhudan movement, where Vinoba Bhave felt that he became one of the people only when he started going into them in dressed in a similar way and working along with them. Nammalvar borrowed the same point from Vinoba Bhave and started change his dressing style, change his talking style. He stopped talking much of the English, and started learning different dialects of Tamil Nadu in different regions, and he started interacting with the local farmers. The moment he started interacting with the local farmers, after dressing just like them, they started giving him good response. But even then, some people were still thinking that he's come from city and he's talking something which might give result or which might not give result. So they are having that skepticism in their minds whether they should really follow him or not. And that is the time when he decided that yes, only when he starts showing them the result, then only people will believe him. So he started working hand in hand with the farmers in the Pudukkottai region, and he converted a waste barren land into a beautiful organic forest covered with live fencing all over the side. And he started doing multi-cropping. Different crops are being cultivated at the same time, so that the farmer can get the yield continuously, not waiting for 3 months or 6 months for the farm to mature. And in the similar way, he started keeping the animals like sheep, cattle, and started using their manure, cow dung, urine as the manure. So after all these experiments, people started believing him, and his movement started getting into the masses. Most of the people in Tamil Nadu started getting converted into the organic farming, and in fact, some of the people from Kerala had taken this philosophy. People from Andhra Pradesh had taken this philosophy. So his movement started spreading its wings all over the place. His philosophy is that for any plot to get converted into organic farming, we need to basically encourage animal husbandry, basically rear cattle, cows, buffalo, sheep, or goat. Then we need to also use the menus that are generated within the farm. Like if you cut the rice, when you harvest rice, the upper part of the grass will come, which needs to be composted and then converted into the manure. And for that composting, you need earthworms, which are the friends of the farmers. And then you can use the weeds which are growing in the form as the manure itself. So, and you need to do the crop rotation. So, these are the kind of principles he's started teaching all the farmers. I'm not going to go deeper into these things, but and bore you. But to be honest, let me tell you these high level statistics. Today in India, most of the farmers spend 20% of their expenses on the seed, on to buy seeds, 40% on the fertilizers, farm labor around 30%, and the transport 10%. After spending so much also, they are not going to get any returns because of the charges which middlemen are taking in selling their produce. So that is the reason why Nammalvar's movement carries a heavy importance, because with his movement, the expense on the seeds and the fertilizers can be reduced to zero, because the seeds can be saved from your earlier crop and can be reused. In fact, Nammalvar, when he's moving from one village to other village, he had found that there are so many indigenous varieties of vegetables which are getting lost because of this new chemical fertilizer based farming approaches. So, for example, I'm just taking one of the photographs of the varieties of brinjals from his website. There are, I mean, it seems there are total 20 varieties of brinjals available in India at once upon a time, and all these brinjals have one or other benefit to your body, and they help your body in one way or the other. So it's not just the color of the brinjal, but the taste of the brinjal also varies. But today in the market, we only see two or three types of brinjals. We don't see the different the other varieties, because all of them are lost to the common public. So that is the reason why he started developing a seed bank, from where the organic farmers, if interested, can take the seeds for their farming usage. And in the same way, they can donate the excess seeds, so that these seed bank professionals will save these seeds and circulate it to the other farmers in the locality. So that way, he's spreading the not only his knowledge, his practice, but he's also encouraging the future generation people to come into farming. And based on his methods, people are seeing a lot of profit. And now you can see, in fact, a lot of people, especially from the IT side, are stepping out into farming practices. Especially, they are turning out to into organic farmers. Some of them are doing weekend farming and stuff like that. All this has started happening because of Nammalvar in South India and Subhash Palekar ji from Maharashtra. Both of them have started spreading the knowledge about organic farming, and their main message for the youth, today's generation, is that food is your medicine. You don't have to gulp in medicines to cure your ailments, but you can cure most of your ailments only through food. And for that, you need to consume only organic food. But once again, here is my question, my dear friends. We do get a lot of organic vegetables, organic fruits, organic food, cereals, pulses, everything in the market, but we really don't have any guarantee that they are really organic. And even if it's organic, nowadays the thing is, they are getting priced at a higher end just because the organic label is getting attached. So that means again the middleman is trying to lose the farmers, organic farmers also here. So my sincere request to all you, to you all, is to understand the hard work of the farmers in getting the right good quality food to you. Once we understand and appreciate the thing, try to buy it from the local farmers rather than from the supermarkets, which will have their own margins. Just because supermarkets are giving you the mangoes or some fruits at a 5 rupee lesser price when compared to the farmers, if you go to the supermarket, you are going to kill the future farmers of our own country. I hope you like this story for today. Let's meet with the interesting story tomorrow. Till then, bye bye.